Many people have heard of the world-famous Nautilus speaker by Bowers Wilkins, but not a whole lot of people have actually heard the system. You can now hear it yourself at Gramophone's Experience Center, located just north of Baltimore in Timonium, Maryland. I'm Joe with Gramophone. Let's dig into what makes this such an amazing product and such an amazing place to audition some of the finest products in the world. So the Nautilus was actually introduced 32 years ago by Bowers and Wilkins, but they're in no position to discontinue it. Why? Because people keep wanting to buy this hand-built beauty. It's a revolutionary speaker that makes a huge statement. You actually would wait about 14 months before you would get your pair, even if you bought them today. Demand for it is that strong. So let's explain that this is actually a quad-amped system. It's not just the speakers, it's all these electronics. What do we mean? Traditionally, you would buy, let's say, a stereo receiver or integrated amp and a pair of speakers. Good to go. However, with this system, you literally get no crossover network in the speaker. What you get are these two Bowers and Wilkins active crossover networks, and they are in the analog domain. I'm not sure that 32 years ago the digital domain was ready for all this just yet. And you've got 4 of these beautiful Marantz Model 10 amplifiers. Why 4? Because remember, we've got 4 drivers here in the Nautilus speaker. So one of the amplifiers is actually powering the 2 tweeters, and that's all it's doing. A second one, the 2 mid-tweeters, a third, the 2 mid-range, and the fourth, the 2 woofers. What's the benefit of doing that? Now we've got incredible control over what each driver is doing. None of the drivers are interfering with the rest of what's happening inside the box because they're all physically separated and they're all electronically separated. The result? Man, when you sit and listen, it just sounds so clean and open. And part of the reason is because all the elements in the system are under the control of the designers. Let's talk a little bit about the highly unusual shape of Nautilus, but first let's just talk about how influential this product is. Think back to the 60s, for example, albums like the Beatles' Rubber Soul and Revolver, and the incredible influence that they had on the music that came later. Think about Pet Sounds from the Beach Boys and the incredible harmonies that you get on Queen's, I think 1975 release, A Night at the Opera. So sometimes something that comes before really influences what happens after. This was deliberately engineered to have a boxless sound. So how did they achieve that? You see how each of the drivers is in its own individual chamber, right? Well, that's to prevent interference, but you also see this long stem coming back. Remember that every tweeter, every woofer, and every speaker that's ever been done not only moves out when it makes the sound, but then has to move back to immediately be able to move and create the next sound. Well, that creates back wave energy. This was the first speaker to really effectively deal with that by putting in this pipe that would absorb and dissipate that energy. So you can also see why this one's much shorter than this one, because the mid-tweet is larger, the mid-range larger still. When they got to the woofer, well, there was no way that they could do a 14-foot long chamber to absorb that back wave and actually have it fit in somebody's living room. So what did they do? They wound up this part of the cabinet like a snail. So what's the result of all this technology when you listen to music? You really get an incredibly open and boxless sound. Instruments seem to be coming from far beyond the physical limitations of the speaker. It's one of the most lifelike images you've ever heard. And if you think about modern speakers, so for example, Bowers and Wilkins 602 and 702, 805s, 801s, you can see in the way that their front baffles are shaped that all this technology has now trickled down to more modern products and really giving you that open boxless sound all throughout their product line. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe, helps us out a ton, and drop a comment down below. We love interacting with our audience. The beauty, of course, of listening at Gramophone's Experience Center is that because it's by appointment only, number one, you get to bring your own favorite music with you, and number two, you can audition this amazing system without car stereos blaring and telephones ringing and all those things that would happen in a normal retail environment. So now let me share with you a little bit about what happened when I listened with three of my favorite songs. So one of my favorite albums is called Famous Blue Raincoat. It's by Jennifer Warnes. She had the late, great Stevie Ray Vaughan playing his usual stinging, greasy blues kind of guitar licks on the record. There's a fellow named Roscoe Beck who's playing a wonderful bass line on the tune First We Take Manhattan. And you hear that with the Nautilus system coming through so nice and loud and clear, but right where it should be in the mix, with Stevie Ray doing the stinging stuff and Jennifer's beautiful voice just soaring over the top of the whole thing. If you listen to the system with that song, you're going to be amazed and impressed. Now, Polyphia has a song called Playing God that is really impressive on this system too, partly because the way that they engineered the music, the way it's produced, there's that back and forth kind of thing happening that plays really well to the strengths of a wide open soundstage, and the bass line is massive. I mean, it's really like this throbbing, pulsating bass line, but the bass doesn't overwhelm what's happening in the mids and highs. So that part was a real treat. A third song that if you've ever been to an audio show, I'm sure you've heard, is called Keep the Wolves Away by Uncle Lucius. The cool thing about that one is that it starts with this kind of very clean and spare, not a lot of music, not a lot of, masked strings or other kind of over-the-top instrumentation, but just a spare backing, and you're listening to this male voice that's deep and rich. And let's be honest, if a speaker system, no matter at what price, can't reproduce the human voice correctly, it's doing something wrong. That song sounded about as good as I've ever heard it when listening with Nautilus. As marvelous as Bowers and Wilkins Nautilus is, it's not for everybody. But what we'd like for you to do is come visit us, make an appointment at the Experience Center so you can audition this marvelous system yourself, because it might actually help you to find what's the right thing for you. Hearing such a clean and open and unfettered sound might influence a little bit what you're really looking for in your price range. We thank you for watching this video. We love sharing our passion for great sound with you. Come visit us if you can. We have a store in Gaithersburg, Maryland, just outside Washington, D.C., in Columbia, and of course here in Timonium, just north of Baltimore. And you can always shop Sky by Gramophone, where you'll get a secure checkout with fast and free shipping straight to your door. Thanks again for spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you at our next video. We made a video of our Bowers and Wilkins factory tour while we watched them build Nautilus. Click the thumbnail below.